We can tell the woman to do this and the man not to do it, or vice versa.
Yeah, vice versa.
Both, we have a part to play. And so the man cannot ask for submission if the woman is not your mission. And the woman cannot ask for affection if the man is not your attention. So it goes both ways. That's why there has to be work. That's why there has to be work. The perfect spouse is in your mind, is not in reality. There's no perfect spouse anywhere.
You got to work.
There's no perfect, you have to do the work. In fact, God gave Adam work before woman.
Woo! Woo! Because the Bible gives us both an assignment, right?
Yeah.
He says, husbands,
Yeah.
love your wife as Christ, or like I loved
the
mine.
church.
Then it says, wives, respect your husband. What are you saying? Christ is saying, wife, speak highly of. Think highly of. Push your husband up. Husband, don't be selfish. Because if you're going to love your wife like I love mine, you got to give up yourself for her. And then when you give up yourself for her, then she says, I'm the center of your attention. Then I push you the way I'm supposed to. That's Ephesians 5 in the work. If the husband does not sacrifice for the wife would not think highly of and speak highly of.
Something just dropped into my spirit now, because there are people here. We can talk all marriage and marriage, but everybody here is not married. But you still need to work if you're in a relationship. I have a problem with people who play hard to get, but they don't work hard to keep after they've been gotten. This is a big problem. You play hard to get. I know I'm speaking to somebody here. You play hard to get, but you don't work hard to keep after you have been gotten. So I don't want you to just think that you're just marriage is the only place where you're not the student. You are the student, not the standard. Because we go in there and they give us a certificate. It doesn't mean you have graduated. It doesn't mean you're just see, you are a student, you are not the standard. Don't go in there thinking you can. No. If you play hard to get, you must work hard to be kept. And a lot of people just want to be gotten, they don't want to be kept. So that it's not just, oh, you've gotten me. No, you are not just a trophy, you are a treasure.
I had to grow in my maturity to a point that I was okay with my wife being honest with me. Because honesty is a big thing in relationships, and it's in dating. Being honest, when I first meet you and I ask you how many kids you have, and you say, oh, I love kids. And you got 4. But in any kind of relationships, honesty is the fastest way to prevent a mistake from turning into a failure.
Adam and Eve, they eat of the forbidden fruit. They eat of the forbidden fruit. And the moment they eat that which is forbidden, they recognize that they were naked. God says to them, who told you that you were naked? They thought they became naked when they ate. They did not recognize that what they consumed just revealed who they already were. So sometimes what happens is you have friends who are in relationships, you go out and eat their negativity with them, and then you come home and you see your husband is naked. But they were naked before you went to go eat. They were naked before, and same thing with wives. You go with your girls or guys, you go with your homeboys, and then you come home. Now somebody has fed you their issue. And now you come home like, now you side-eye somebody who has never done what the people you have eaten with or hung out with have done, but now they are naked, and then they take a fig leaf and they cover themselves up. Because after the decision has been made, now we're guarded. And the worst thing you can do in a relationship is prevent a person from seeing you. Because if you prevent me from seeing you, then I will assume what's underneath there. And it may or may not be in your favor. Here's what I want to be happy. They don't make me happy. They don't make me happy. The truth is, you're not happy. And nobody can make you happy. Happiness is an inside job.
Yes, sir.
That you have to work on. And I believe in, and we were talking about this yesterday, there should be no person in your life anywhere that can contribute to the dissatisfaction or unhappiness of the people in the relationship. That means your mama shouldn't be, your children, your friends. Everybody has to be on the peripheral of their relationship. And as we said last time, it ain't us against each other. It is us against it. And whatever it is, we come together and we attack the problem because we wrestle not against flesh and blood. So even if you are the problem, I still go after the spirit. Marriage is not about happiness, it's about evangelism. You want to win that person to the Lord. And by the time we finish with each other, we ought to both be like Christ. So what God does is he gives you somebody who highlights your issues. But when you weak, you make the person the issue. Everything about Mother Warner is programmed to get on Pastor Warner's nerve unless he grows.
Wow. Wow.
So God gave him not a wife, an evangelist. And her life is preaching to his depravity. And after 36 years, he has become a better man because he attended all the sermons. He didn't skip church. For 36 years, every day he went to class. And the same thing goes in reverse. God gave you a minister, not a husband. And he is ministering to your soul and bringing us under to subjection. That's why, here it is, God doesn't give us chairs, he gives us trees. And if we have the patience, we can carve a chair out of the tree, which is why, thank you for the word, God gave the wife a groom because it is our job to groom you. And when you groom something, you take care to cut in the proper places. The problem with most of us is we never stay long enough to appreciate what we could be through what he gave us. Now, here is the issue. When you pick wrong,
talk on it, Reverend. Talk on it, man. What you put on the gas?
then everything I just said goes out the window.
Talk on it, Reverend.
Because when you pick wrong, the other person is not willing to be groomed. When you pick wrong, the other person is concerned about making sure that you know you're naked, but they're clothed. When you pick wrong, the reason why you have survival after 27 years and 10 years and 7 years, all of that is basically saying, I accept your role in my life. And even though it ain't comfortable, I'm going to sit here until I become what God wants me to be. Understand, marriage is about evangelism. God wants you to be more like him at the end of this journey. So, if you lack patience, then he's going to give you somebody who works your patience. Whatever you lack is in the person he gave you.
Right, that's a help, man.
Pastor, let me explain it. So a lot of times when we respond, it is not necessarily because I did something. Yes, I did something. Yes, I said something. But there is a trigger. There is something, because you're already hurt and you come in broken and you come in wounded and you come in molested and you come in with all of these things in your mind. So you have filters and you have feelings and it's all together. And when I step on your toes, you begin to produce a reaction and a response that does not befit that action. I want to say something Pastor talked about Eden. A lot of times we expect Adam to be our God. Even when there was an Adam and an Eve, there was still a God. Marriage is not supposed to complete you, but complement you. Don't expect from your spouse what God can only give you. In the garden, Pastor just talked about education in Eden. In the Garden of Eden, there was an Eve and there was an Adam, but there was still a God. And a lot of times when we find our Eve, we kick God out of the equation. No, a threefold cord cannot be broken. Abraham would never have given birth to Isaac. Abraham and Sarah would never have given birth to Isaac. Abraham and Sarai would never have given birth to Isaac. It took Abraham and Sarah to give birth to Isaac. The problem is that we're trying to give birth to Isaac, but we are dating Sarai and we're dating Abrams. As long as you are dating an Abraham, you would never produce an Isaac. As long as a Sarai is dating an Abraham, you would never produce an Isaac. You have to evolve from an Abram to an Abraham, and Sarah has to also evolve from a Sarai to a Sarah. Then both of you come together to produce an Isaac.
Going to materialize, and we as men, what typically happens is we are monolithic in not in our emotions, but the expression of emotion. Yeah. So men have as many emotions as women, but we typically only know how to show them in one way: anger. So we can be sad, you'll think we're angry. Our heart can be broken, you'll think we're angry. We can feel less than, you'll think we're angry, because, as you all say, you have more emotions. It is true. We have the same amount. We're not equipped to express them in the veracity that you can cry, you can call a friend. So we don't call each other. We just be like, we'll know our brother struggling. How you doing? Oh, I'm good, man. Everything cool. If two girlfriends get the girls, be like, girl, let me tell you, if he don't get his stuff together, he gonna find himself living with his mama, because I ain't got no time for all of this. So we don't have the ability to do that. One of the things I think that is important as we evolve in relationship, I think that men have to become better at expressing our emotions. So we are tagged as non-emotional, you are tagged as too emotional, and neither one of those are right. That men are not right because we can hold it together, and women are not wrong because they fall apart. The truth is we have to find a healthy way of expressing our emotions to each other, and if that means sometimes crying, then it has to be okay for both of us. No, seriously, I want to dig in that, because it's sometimes plausible to be with a person but want what you want so bad that you can climb over the nonverbals. He shut down. You decided that's his shutdown mode. But let's flip that. Imagine it's your wife and she shuts down. Do you say that's her shutdown mode, or do you say, are you going to talk to me? Right? You see what I'm saying? Because I think that sometimes we offer our friends what we don't offer our spouses. And I think, to me, and that was one of my struggles, is that I was a non-verbal cuer with the expectation that somebody should be able to read my mind and know what I'm thinking and react to what I didn't say. And when you don't react to what I didn't say, because I heard myself say it. Come on, y'all. I heard myself say it. I know you saw that look I gave. I know you saw me not make eye contact, but you said it anyway. So now I'm offended, because I think that you want what you want more than what I'm showing you I need at the moment. Or advice, how do we get to the place where we do for our spouse what you did for Pastor Torrance?
Pastor, I think it's to the point where you have to realize you got to humble yourself, and I'm getting delivered even today. I don't need no echo.
By the way, that's his wife, y'all.
I'm gonna get like Pastor Torrance now. Wait a minute. I said all to say, I ain't gonna say it now. I'm about to give you some kudos. But Pastor, I remember my wife is the kind of person, she's loving, she's caring, But I'm the kind of person where, like you said, I wanted her for so long to read my mind or read my nonverbal cues. And I would come home and she'd be at home and I'd sit on the couch and sit on the opposite end. And in reality, I'm waiting on her to say, "What you doing sitting over there? Come closer." And then she said, "I ain't gonna do it." Do it for the vine.
Do it for the
I
vine.
ain't gonna do it. And so, Pastor, I found myself getting closer. And I'm saying, she ain't getting what I'm doing. And I get closer and closer. And I say, "Don't you see what I'm trying to do?" Well, all you had to do is say that you wanted a hug or you wanted a kiss. And how many times have we missed out on what we wanted because we didn't speak on it? And that's just not for marriages, that's for dating.
Yeah.
Because a lot of miscues are because you don't speak up for what you want.
Some people are not willing to go to class.
Yeah.
They want to be the principal. Not willing to go to class. I need you to, and all three of y'all, what do you do? Because some of the people out there, and I'm going to get these DMs. This is what happens every time we break through.
Yeah.
I get the DMs, and here's the DMs. Yeah, but that's for all them good people who listen. But my case,
Yeah.
this joker that I got,
Yeah.
what do I do when he doesn't? What do I do when she doesn't? So I heard humility. But what else do we have for the piston that
piston,
when you got one side
I think
that's working,
Wait.
and what do you do to get both sides working?
I think you have to, for a woman or a man, I think you have to have a stance, and see, like Mama Hammond and Mother, they have a stance, and when you have someone in your life, and you're trying to communicate how you need to love me, I think you need to have a stance on that communication. So Mother's going to keep standing in front of that door until you say, "Well, wait a minute. Here you go." Mama Hammer going to stand in front of that car until you said, "Oh, now let me open this door," because you got to have a stance. If you come out for your stance, then you'll get the same results and you'll be upset with a person that you failed to educate. So if you want somebody to love, isn't that love language?
Yes, sir.
That I have to understand the language you need to be loved in. So if I gotta keep seeing you stand in front of this door, eventually we'll be doing like this. But it's gonna be painful to get to that point. It's gonna cause a lot of arguments, maybe, but still have your stance. Because this is what I need in order to feel precious or treasure from you. If I'm not your treasure, then let me go.
That's powerful.
Trust is so essential in whatever relationship, and whatever we're talking about today, you can use them in all of your. You could do this with your boss. You could do this with your sisters. You could do this with your cousins. Because at the end of the day, our relationships should have their foundation in love. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Now, the Bible says in 1 Corinthians that there is faith, love, and hope. And the greatest of these three is love.
Yes, sir.
But if you read it in the King James Version of the Bible, it says that love, hope, and faith, hope, and charity.
Yes, sir.
Because love is actually charity work. Given to people who cannot afford to pay you back. And most of us don't give love, we sell it.
Now, hold on. There he go. Love sellers.
We sell it for a cost. I'll love you if you don't cheat on me. I'll love you if you buy me this. I'll love you if. That's love for sale. But love, according to the text, is charity, which means I have to, number one, give it away. And most times, I'm giving it to somebody who doesn't have the ability to pay me back. There will be times that you will have to love me and I will have to love you, and neither one of us will deserve to be loved.
Come on, man. We still gotta
And if I only love you on the days you deserve it, and if I only respect you on the days, and this is another thing. Ladies, love is your big word. You will understand that most men never ask you to love us. We ask you to respect us. Because to us, psychologically, when you respect us, we automatically feel loved. We don't need you to buy us flowers. If you respect us, we feel loved. If you disrespect us, we feel hated. That's not your key word. Your word is love. And we got to learn how to do that better. But we have to understand that plane lands on two different runways. That your spouse or your partner should never be hurting and you not hurt at the same time.
Yeah.
I should never be able to see you hurting and go sleep in a room for 7 days and never come in there and check on you and walk past you every day. Something's wrong with that. Listen, after that argument is over, I don't know how much time it takes, but within a few, well, I do know, don't let the sun go down on your anger. So for whatever it takes, from the time the argument ensued until it's time to go to bed, somebody's heart has to be soft. And that might mean the person who's not at fault has to come in the room and say, you know what? I value our peace more than I do being correct. So what do we need to do to make sure that we can get our relationship back on rhythm? Because your blessing as a man, 1 Peter chapter 3:7 says, honor your wife as the weaker vessel, that your prayers may not be hindered. Listen to me, men. If you are a married man and you have unanswered prayers, it's probably because you haven't treated your wife right.
That's a good one.
God will hinder your prayer life if you don't honor your wife as a weaker vessel. You might be able to fast, speak in tongues. You may know the tongues of men. You may know 1,000 scriptures. But if you don't treat that woman at some point as the weaker vessel, God sends your prayer requests to the trash junk box.
Talk, man.
And it's on hold. Better yet, the outbox.
Talk, well.
Because there is no connection waiting to be seen until you connect again.
Woo. Woo.
Men, that's for us. That if we honor our wife as a weaker vessel, our prayer life increases.
Rev,
and God starts answering our prayers.
I think when you said about it being controversial that we have to go into relationships with the expectation that we'll probably be hurt, I think it's not as controversial as we make it, because I think it's biblical. Because Christ went into a relationship with us knowing. See, you're not perfect. And he went into a relationship with you knowing that you are going to eventually break his heart. But he put something, he set something up called grace and mercy. Come on, man. That he could always be in fellowship. That's the bridge between you and him. Grace and mercy. Because he set that up knowing that once I marry you, and we all married to him, once I marry you, you're going to break my heart.